So right about now, you're thinking to yourself, just how old is that guy? Now, I'll tell you, Folly and I had the house struck by lightning last month that took out the Wi-Fi. So we were setting up the new Wi-Fi system, and Folly was in the other room, and I was trying to get my phone on the Wi-Fi. So I called in the other room. I said, Folly, what's the password? Folly called back, it's taped under the modem. So after 3 unsuccessful attempts to try to get onto the Wi-Fi, I went into the other room and said, have I got this right? T-A-P-E-D-U... That old. Listen, I want to welcome all the new faculty this morning. I want to welcome the returning faculty. It's good to see everybody. It's gratifying to begin yet another academic year, our 50th year. Now, that's reason for celebration, and during the course of this year, you're going to see a number of events on this campus that underscore our celebration of that landmark year. And those events will involve various constituencies, not only within the university, but across the community and across our alumni community, too. We're very, very proud about that. A little more on that in a few minutes. So, over the summer, national politics have been as catastrophic as ever. Throughout this fall, we'll watch various policy agendas clash on everything from immigration to climate change to civil and individual rights. By contrast, our own state experience has been, well, no less bizarre. Divisiveness exists in any number of areas, ranging from a contentious re-engagement in the State House between pro-choice and pro-life forces, to efforts to mitigate financial fallout from a failed nuclear plant that brought down the state's largest utility, to resentment over the motive and method of selecting USC's new president. So it's reasonable to assume in the new year we probably won't see our state political leadership of whatever party clutching each other's hands and singing Kumbaya. This will be a year spent in assessing political reality versus perception, ascertaining the tolerance of voters or perhaps provoking the intolerance of voters, and probably trying to differentiate between the protectors and the protagonists. Stay tuned. But meanwhile, back at the ranch, things are going fairly well. Let's begin by extending congratulations to a few of our colleagues for their accomplishments during late spring and the summer. Travis Knowles worked with a design team from the University of Georgia's College of Environment and Design as part of the planning process to further develop Wild Sumaco, our biological station. Congratulations, Travis. Jeff Camper published The Reptiles of South Carolina with the University of South Carolina Press. You're not sliding over into political science, are you, Jeff? The Modern Language Association has invited our own professional writing program to present at its winter conference. Christine Masters will be taking a group of our students there to participate. Bloomsbury Press has published Scott Kaufman's new book, The Environment and International History. Scott also traveled to Auckland, New Zealand to present a paper, A Wealth of Excuses, Gerald Ford's Decision Not to Meet Alexander Solzhenitsyn. Larry Engelhardt has received the Homer L. Dodge Citation for Distinguished Service from the American Association of Physics Teachers. He was recognized for service, leadership, the numerous workshops he's conducted around the country on teaching undergraduate computational physics. That's a big deal. Congratulations, Larry. Well done. Engineering faculty members Rahul Renu, Lorna Cintron Gonzalez, and Brett Shields received a grant from the South Carolina Research Authority for their work on supply chain issues. Congratulations to them. Hunter Sims spent time this summer at Oak Ridge National Laboratory researching and modeling the properties of a high-temperature superconductor. Crystal Hill Chapman was elected treasurer of the South Carolina Association of School Psychologists. Hubert Setzler presented a case study in Johannesburg, South Africa at the European Conference on Research Methodology for Business and Management Studies. Cal Johnston hosted a workshop for international educators at the Clute Institute in Dublin, Ireland. Polly Hazelton hosted visiting Thai faculty on our own campus, teaching project-based learning approaches. Karen Fry and Sherry Richardson participated in the HERS Institute. Jennifer Kunka and Teresa Ramey completed Harvard's Education Management program this summer. Ruth Whitman Price served as one of 2 editors for the review manual for the Certified Healthcare Simulation Educator. Karen Giddings and Dory Weaver also contributed sections to that book. Meredith Love and Matt Nelson devoted yet another summer, their 5th, to hosting the Activate Academy and educating rising 9th graders on the value of acquiring a collegiate education. I'm not sure anybody's spent a better summer than them. Congratulations to those 2. And a very special recognition. Debla Hopla has been selected as a Fellow of the American Academy of Nurses, and she'll be inducted in October. Congratulations to all of you. Job well done. I do want to take a second. I want to thank Darrell Bridges and Cheryl Tuttle, Ralph Davis, Mike Ritchie, Pat Boswell, and the 70 or so custodial maintenance grounds crews who labored so hard the last month and a half to get this campus ready for fall. They do a wonderful job every year, and all of us know them. Deeply appreciative for their work and their efforts. Now, congratulations on a few academic appointments. Allie Stedman as the new Associate Provost, Ann Steckman as the Director of the McNair Institute, David Baxley as the new Director of the First Year Initiative, Chris Johnson as our first editor of Carolina Currents, the university's new interdisciplinary regional journal, which we hope to have in publication by academic year 20 to 21. You'll hear a little more about this as we roll it out during the fall. It's going to be a terrific opportunity, I think, for this university to continue to take a lead among the universities across the region and the country. Finally, one academic recognition. Currently there are 11 trustee research scholars. Due to a retirement, we were 1 short of the 12 authorized by the Board of Trustees. So this morning, I'm proud to announce our newest trustee research scholar, Joangela Edmonds. Joangela. That's a pretty big thing, too. Now let's talk about money. The General Assembly treated us well in the appropriations process this season. We received $1.464 million in new recurring funding, with an additional $5 million in non-recurring funding to build our Freshwater Ecology Center. And I might pause there and make one other appointment. Jeff Steinmetz will be the new director of our Ecology Center on campus. We're very, very proud of that. Of course, who else? We also received $260,984 in lottery funding for technology and $350,000 for our Poverty Center of Excellence. Now, that funding was sufficient to provide for a reasonable pay increase and bonuses for faculty and staff, while permitting us this year to avoid any tuition increase. News that was very popular among our students and their parents. At the same time, we were able to go out and renovate the village apartments, something that sorely needed being done over the last few years. This year, we'll begin construction on the following facilities: the Honor Center, which will be here on campus, and yes, I understand the pine trees were cut, and yes, I promise that we'll plant 3 hardwoods for every pine tree that was cut. And the Freshwater Ecology Center, which will be built on 145 acres off Williston Road, which was gifted to us by the Bruce and Lee Foundation, at $5 million. That construction will begin in late fall, and hopefully that facility will be open in January of 21. That'll be a very, very nice teaching environment and a nice teaching venue for this institution. It'll also be a terrific recreational site for all of us. We'll also undertake this year, or begin undertaking, 3 renovation efforts. We'll convert the old post office downtown into a medical education complex. We have $8 million for that. We will renovate the Smith Student Center, the back portion pertaining to athletics and some of student organizations. That'll be a $1.3 million effort. And we will expand the athletic field house over at the Griffin Athletic Center. That will cost about $2 million. As has been the case in the past, most of these projects are funded using resources external to the university. Private contributions or designated, note I've avoided the term earmarked, designated state appropriations. Again, we're continuing to expand both the scope and substance of what we do on this campus using other people's money. And none of these projects will involve any increase in student tuition. I'm very proud of that. Of course, there is also our participation in the Continuum down the road in Lake City, a bold, innovative venture comprised of the new education partnership among the Darla Moore Foundation, Florence Darlington Tech, and us. You know, I could speak at length on this topic, but I won't. Suffice it to say that FMU will be incubating new businesses, offering certificate programs, and teaching dual enrollment courses to about 400 to 500 students there this year. We expect that a sizable number of those young men and women will matriculate eventually into our degree programs. This was a good move for us, academically, economically, and politically. For this year, our fall enrollment looks great. Once again, to the efforts of our enrollment management team, Alyssa, Jamie, Kim, Ann, and their fine staffs. Our new freshmen have been on campus 2 days, and they are fully engaged. Thanks to Chris Kennedy, Jennifer Kanka, Cheryl Tuttle, and their wonderful staffs. For next year, we'll request a little higher level of recurring funding and a substantial amount of non-recurring funding. We'll request $1.8 million as opposed to the $1.4 million we got this year in recurring, and we'll request $5 million in non-recurring to focus on deferred maintenance across the campus. Projects within selected buildings, road and parking lot paving, may not be very gimmicky and sexy, but it's also very important for the looks of the campus and to maintain the quality of the campus. If the funding permits, we'll also commit $50,000 to $100,000 next year to dealing with pay compression problems that exist on the faculty, and we're going to do the same thing this year. We've set that money aside. Pay compression, we talk about that from time to time, Pay compression, if we don't work on that every single year, it continues to develop as a critical problem within this faculty. So the 50 to 100,000 will allow us to probably take care of about 25 to 30 faculty each year in terms of pay issues that have just become out of kilter in comparison with their colleagues. We'll work on that. We'll also look carefully this year at the salaries of the custodial and maintenance staff to fix a few problems there, as well as those of the campus police. Those folks work very, very hard for us every single day and every single night. And I want to make sure that their salaries are comparable with those folks in jurisdictions that are around us. You know, your morale is important, but your salaries are even more so. And that's something that we're determined to continue to work on. We'll begin this year, and we'll continue to push on that over the next few years. Okay, almost 50 years ago, our founders had a grand vision for this university. And over time, that legacy's been passed down to us. Beginning with the 1970s, in October of this year, and culminating with this decade in March, we'll highlight a few notable faculty and staff each month, and we'll witness the evolution of this university decade by decade through their eyes. We'll use all the local press available to publicize those efforts, as we not only recognize what the faculty and staff of the past have done to make this university great, but what you're doing to sustain, fulfill, and honor the legacy that's been passed to you. We'll also do a few other things this year. In October, we'll host a university dinner honoring the remaining true founders. We think there are probably about 50 of those, and we're looking forward to that event. In November, we'll celebrate Founders Day during the week of Doug Smith, our founding president's birthday. We're calling it Doug's Day, and we'll do that every year into the future. This year, we'll recognize it with a concert in the stadium, with a unique gathering of faculty, staff, students, alumni, friends of the university, and anybody else who wants to come. In February, we'll inject a strong 50th anniversary theme into homecoming, and in April, the foundation will sponsor a spring Happy Birthday Gala at the PAC. The purpose of the Happy Birthday Gala is for the benefit of raising money for the First Generation Fund. I can't think of a better way to honor our obligations to the men and women of this region than to continue to raise money for scholarships. And so we'll do that. It'll be an exciting year.